What's up, everybody? It's Troy Cartwright. Welcome back to another episode of 10-Year Town. Before we get started, little shameless self-promotion here. I've got a brand new song called Whiskey Ginger dropping this Friday. I'd love if you checked it out, told some friends when it drops, and I appreciate you. Thanks. Today's guest is Ward Davis. You know Ward from some of the songs he's written for artists like Cody Jinks, including The Devil, and his own songs like Another Bad Apple and Get to Work Whiskey. Ward has an interesting story that we cover in this episode. It is a story that begins with his trials and tribulations on Music Row and how he ended up writing outlaw country songs and making a living doing it. I really enjoyed this conversation. I know you guys will too. So without further ado, here he is, Ward Davis. Welcome. I always start this thing off with the same question, which may be a loaded question, but
okay.
It's how long have you been in town?
I moved here in 2000.
Where from?
Monticello, Arkansas.
Okay.
Via Benton Harbor, Michigan. So I was in college in Arkansas, and I met these dudes from Texas.
Okay.
And they introduced me to Texas country music.
Yeah.
So Charlie Robinson. I became a big Charlie Robinson fan. So the summer after my second year of college, one of my friends invited me down to see Charlie at Billy Bob's. I was only 20. He was 21. We went in. He got me a beer. I turned around. There was this big cowboy with an earpiece in. It was a TABC, Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission. And so I got arrested. Didn't get to see Charlie. I went home. Said, "Dad, can I have $1,200 or whatever I need?" And he's like, "Nope." And so I got this job in Michigan for 3 months working for a tomato broker that I knew.
Casual.
Yeah. Well, I'd worked for him during the summer growing up in Arkansas, and he would go to Michigan when he left Arkansas. But anyway, I saved up enough money after I paid the ticket off. I was like, fuck it, man, I'm moving to Nashville.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to see Charlie?
I did. Actually, I saw him and Robert Earl Keen play at the Riverfront down in Nashville. I mean, it was probably 2003, 2002 or 3 maybe.
Okay. I was actually just listening to a bunch of Charlie records on Friday.
Yeah. Which ones?
It's funny because I was with this. I was meeting up for a drink with this producer, Bart Butler, and I was asking him. I was like, "Man, who produced the?" So I'm terrible with album names. The song that I started listening to was "Back Down Again." Here I come back down.
Yes,
again.
yes, sir.
And then I moved over to like the record with like New Year's Day and all that. I guess it was Lloyd Maines, turned out.
Yeah.
That produced, I think, all of it or most of it.
I don't. You can tell me better, man.
Dude, Charlie is, I mean, he had some incredible songs.
I had the Life of the Party record.
Yeah.
And the one that had a Big City Blues and El Cerrito Place on it. Yeah. Man, I think El Cerrito Place is just one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Keith Gaddis.
Yep.
He was a monster.
He's not with us anymore either.
Dude.
We're losing them all.
Yeah, dude. We really are, man. Like, it started like COVID started just, and I don't know, they say they come in threes, but it's like they come in 30s.
Yeah, there was a lot. We lost a lot of people in a few short years. The song that I just can't believe is real is Loving County.
Oh yeah, The Lights of Loving County.
Unbelievable.
Man, can you so that was kind of the appeal though. Like, can you imagine in 1999, whenever that record came out, that song being on the radio, like country radio, or at any point really.
Yeah, I mean, I hear a song like that, and you know, with those Charlie Robinson records and like the Robert Earl Keen stuff, the way that they're able to write these songs that are just these incredible stories that are taking place in 3 to 4.5 minutes It's almost like it's a lost art form, you know? I mean, it's very inspiring to me as a songwriter. I'm always trying to do that kind of stuff, but
yeah, you have these built-in these boundaries that are they're almost established, man. It's like nobody wants to hear an 8-minute song, but you know what? It's your song too. Like if you want to write an 8-minute song, Freebird is fine. Like, you know, nobody said, come on, Freebird.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but I'm the same way, man. I mean, you want to stay under 4 minutes, so in case you know some monster artist hears it, wants to put
work
it out
for the radio.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I really did get sick of that shit though. Like it when you work in the confines of those things, man, there's no room for expression. Like and it wasn't not just the time limitations, man, but I always had publishing deals. I got my first publishing deal in 2002 with this guy named Tom Collins, and he was like a publishing legend. He signed Dean Dillon to his first deal and Keith Stegall to his first deal, and he produced all those Ronnie Millsap records and Barbara Mandrell records. And he gave me a publishing deal, and he dropped me after 6 months. And I was just like, I was in his office begging him not to drop me. And he's like, Ward, I like you. He's like, you just don't know what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're not, you have to think for radio. You need to stop thinking about writing songs. And first of all, you can't really write that well anyway. You're too young. But he liked to develop writers and that kind of thing. But man, as I went from publisher to publisher, it's like you would get really excited about this song that you wrote that just came just pouring out of yourself. And it was just this like it was so special to you. And you take it in there and they'd say, well, man, you know, can you hear Kenny Chesney singing that? I'll be like, no. And they're like, well, don't bring it back until you can, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that is really disheartening. And I would get cuts here and there and shit, but it wasn't. I never had a big hit because I just didn't have a hit writer brain, I guess. I just wanted to write songs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've certainly, I mean, we'll get into it, but I feel like you've, you know, found your way and found your people and the things that work for you. But yeah, tell me a little bit more about, so you moved to town, you get this publishing deal for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then did you keep kind of banging your head against the wall on Music Row and doing all that stuff?
Well, I had back then, and I don't know about now because I don't really do it anymore, but it was really, dude, you meet one person, you would go down to the Longhorn with one guy and you meet 5 people.
Yeah.
And you did that 2 or 3 times a week. By the time, man, I was writing with really big songwriters, just that I met. And in doing that, wrote a few decent songs, which helped me get other publishing deals, which they're not really deals. They take half your song and give you $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know, that was my school. That was my tuition.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would get a cut. My first cut, I had a cut at Tom Collins Publishing. It was Sammy Kershaw recorded one of my songs.
That's pretty sick.
And, dude, it was a big deal. It was like, I think it was the album after the album that was kind of his last brouhaha. But I could call my friends back home, and they all knew who Sammy Kershaw was. And, you know, then I think Bucky Covington was the next kind of whatever. He was on American Idol, but he had a hit record, man, a couple hit records. And I had a cut on there, but not a single. And but there is a story there. Not only did the producer of the record tell me that I had the second single, which was Mark Miller, the lead singer of Sawyer Brown, and the head of the label at Lyric Street, and I can't remember that guy's name, but they both told me I had the second single. And man, I already had the money spent.
Oh, yeah. You were thinking about that jet ski you were gonna buy.
Shit, yeah, man. I couldn't wait. Gold rings.
Yeah.
But no. And then after that, like I had one, Trace Adkins recorded, and there were some like, you know, other artists that did that either never came out or never did anything. But Trace Adkins did one. And then I think 2015, Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard recorded a song that I wrote with Marla Cannon called Unfair Weather Friend.
Yeah.
And dude, that was just kind of like this moment. And I was 35 years old when that happened. Jesus, I mean, it was 10 years ago. It was just that moment where it was like, dude, you're not writing hit records. Like, old men like your songs. And they're the right old men, but you're not going to, it's maybe this hit songwriter gig ain't for you, and maybe you need to go cut a record.
Yeah.
And not long before that, I had seen Sturgill Simpson on Conan O'Brien, and that spoke to me because I remember when he walked, I'd gone to a writer's night, and it wasn't a writer's night, it was just a show at the Opry Backstage Grill over here by Opryland. And dude, I did my hour for $100 and a tough steak. And it was all tourists that were in there, and they didn't give a shit about my songs. You know, they wanted to hear Wagon Wheel or, you know. So I got home and I plopped down on the couch, and it was just like this, fuck, man, what am I doing? Like, I turned the TV on, and Conan, I mean, it's the first thing that came on. Conan held up that, and ladies and gentlemen, Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah.
And the kickoff to the Living a Dream, that dun, 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 it's just country as hell. And the guy's wearing a hat, and I look at Sturgill, and I was like, oh, great, look at this fucking guy. Like, what is this shit? You know, and then he started singing, and I just got up on the edge of my couch.
Yeah.
And I texted my friend Buddy Cannon, and I said, Buddy, do you know who Sturgill Simpson is? And he said, he's my new favorite. He has fire. And I said, yeah. And before that song was over, I had everything downloaded. I was ready to listen to it. And to me, it was just like this amazing thing, because here was this guy that I'd never heard of, never seen, and he was better than anything I'd ever heard or seen. Yeah. And he was on TV. And shit, man, he did it. Like, I ain't that good, but I can do a record. I don't have to do this. I can. Yeah. I bet that wasn't easy, but shit, man, what do I care?
Yeah, it's inspiring when you see that stuff.
Dude, it was nuts. And but then Willie and Merle recorded my song, and after that, it was just like, there's my sign, man. I need to stop chasing these geese and go find some new ones.
Yeah, yeah. This episode is sponsored by the Graphic Guitar Guys. They create eye-catching custom guitar wraps for some of the biggest artists and festivals in the music industry. Their work is perfect for artists and their teams who are looking to add a unique touch to album pre-sale bundles or VIP package items. They also do one-off designs, so if you're looking for a one-of-a-kind gift for a special event, anniversary, birthday party, etc., you can go to thegraphicguitarguys.com. I've worked with Scott myself, and I can personally attest to how easy they make the entire process. Now, back to the show. Yeah, there's this quote, there's this book by Annie Dillard called The Writing Life, and she's talking about this stunt pilot that she saw at an air show, and then after it was done, there was this bird, and it was doing all these tricks, and she goes, I knew how that bird felt. I bet if you saw Rembrandt paint, you'd want to paint too. Yeah. and I think about that when I hear a record that really inspires me. You just look at it and you go, man, I want to do that. That's what I'm trying to do. That's the lighthouse, you know.
I try to there's a song called A Rake and a Ramblin' Man that Bob McDill wrote that Don Williams recorded. And it's a song about a guy who knocks a girl up. And, you know, I spent my last $10 and bought her a secondhand ring, you know. Yeah. He's doing the right thing, but it's like, you know, I'm a rake and a rambling man, free as the eagle flies. Look at me now and tell me the truth. Do I look like a daddy to you? And I think about Bob McDill writing it, and the goosebumps pop up, because how the hell does he know how that feels without living it? Yeah. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But man, those great songwriters, a lot of them didn't. They just knew, and they knew how to say it, so you knew. And I'm like, how the hell does that happen? And it's got to be. It's
a gift.
It's a gift. It's divine. It's something, man.
I think that's my favorite thing about, you know, writing songs and making records and just making stuff, is you kind of get, it's the closest thing that I've ever found where you get to live another life, you know, because we only get this one, I think.
You see it through the eyes of someone else.
Yeah, it's really, it's just, I don't know. It's that feeling is very
Well, dude, when a song comes out, man, if you're writing a song, I had a conversation with somebody this morning. It's like if you're out there just writing songs to make money, that's all you're ever going to get from them, you know? But man, when you write something that means something to you, it's going to mean something to somebody else. Like,
no doubt.
Inevitably. I mean, and maybe, but yeah, it will. And this whole subculture of Sturgill and Jinks and Whitey Morgan.
Yeah.
And man, I'd say I even go Stapleton on it, even though he's Chris Stapleton, man. But there was this movement, this culture of authentic music, authentic songs, and man, thank God for it. And it was, I think a lot of it was just created out of people rolling their eyes at the shit that was being forced down their throats for so long.
Yeah.
So,
well, how did you once you went and made a record, and then did you start, like, were you touring already during this time, or just kind of playing, you know, hour-long shows for $100?
Yeah, I mean, here and there. I would go up to Ashland, Kentucky, you know, once every couple of months, and I would do a show in Ashland, and then I'd go to Huntington, West Virginia, which is about 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
And it would be the same 30 people at both shows, but you know, one was $300 and one was $400, and I needed that money.
Yeah.
And I stayed with friends, so it was, you know, it was a good deal. I did that. I got this booking agent down in Texas after I did my record. He's a good guy, hardworking dude. But he called me one day and said, "Hey," it was after I'd put my record out on my own, and you know, it's whatever. It didn't really do much, but he said, "Hey, there's this guy down here named Cody Jinks, and he's starting to catch fire, and there's an opening spot, and I'm trying to get you on it." And he's like, "Man, he's got this manager I really want you to meet." And he used to work with Bob Seger. And I was like, "Oh, shit, man. Well, my producer he's in Bob Seger's band."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm going to put that in the email." And he did. And so because of that synchronicity or whatever, I don't know the right word. Not good with words.
That's the right word.
Synchronicity?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. She's an English teacher.
There you
She's
go.
proud of that shit. But because of that, I got this gig opening for Cody for $150. And
Where was it? Do you remember?
dude, I didn't even realize the irony of it until about 2 years later. One of those records I was talking about in college, Robert Earl Keen, was the live #2 dinner.
Yeah.
It was at Floor's Country Store in Halodi's where that was recorded.
Yeah.
And I met him, and he came in. He did sell that show out that night, but it was inside. It was like $750. But he came up to me. I rolled in with a suitcase full of T-shirts and my guitar, you know, and he said, "Are you Ward?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You Cody?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me." And he goes, "Yeah, man, glad to have you. You smoke weed?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Come with me." And we're friends ever since.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And dude, he was really like, honestly, he was the guy that said, I remember I was just taking any gig I could take, like anything. But he was also throwing me on the front of his shows. And I opened for him in Texarkana one time, and he had asked me what I did the night before. And I said, I played Sweet Home Alabama 3 times. And he's like, "Man, you got to stop doing that shit, Ward." I was like, "Yeah, but I needed the 400. And he's like, "Yeah, but you got to stop doing that shit." And I didn't want him making fun of me, so I had to stop doing it.
Yeah.
But
well, he was onto something.
Dude, yeah, he was. And he took me with him, man. There's no other way to explain it. Yeah, what a dude.
Yeah, I remember I played, I don't know if you ever played this gig. There was a radio show in Waxahachie, Texas at the Rocket Cafe. It was, they would do on Sunday afternoons, they would do a song swap.
That sounds about right. But
I played it. It was probably, it was 2014 or 2015, but it was me and Cody, somebody else I can't remember. And I mean, He's so good.
Yeah.
His voice is so good. I was so green. That was probably like my 10th show, you know.
Yeah.
And we played a few songs. I played this song called Paris, Texas that I wrote. And we took a break and we went outside and he goes, "Cartwright, what the hell do you got to be so sad about?"
Oh God.
And I always remember that. He's a great guy, man.
The thing about he and I, like, we're pretty much the same age. I'm a little bit older than him, just by, I think 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
But we had this thing where we, like, not that we came from the same part of the world, but I grew up in Southeast Arkansas. He grew up in Fort Worth. It's the South. I was going to Texas a lot and playing and stuff, but it was almost like our paths, we never ran into each other. But he went out and did he just went out and started making records and touring.
Yeah.
And I went to Nashville and did that. And it took me, it was just like we went around these circles and bumped into each other at this right exact moment, man. And he started taking me on doing shows. And then he texted me one day and was like, "Hey, dude, I need one more song for my new record. We're down at the studio. Can you fly down here? If I fly down here in 2 days, can you make it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, all I could think was free trip to El Paso because, again, like.
Was that out at Sonic Ranch?
Yeah, Sonic Ranch.
Yeah.
And so I went down there and, man, I had this idea for a song comes from a whole other place, but I went to him. We sat down on the front porch of this little house where the band was staying. And I was like, "Man, what do you think of this?" It's called "I'm Not the Devil." And he's like, "I love that." And we wrote it in about an hour. And we went over to the studio, to the Adobe building. At that point, I think they were going to call the record Adobe 2, which is lazy. And I was playing guitar, and Cody was singing it, reading off the page to the band and his manager and his producer. And I could see their reflection in the window. And when we hit that hook the first time, or when he hit it, I saw them look at each other and nod. And then when we got done, his manager said something like, "Well, there's your first single. There's your album title. That's your whole fucking career right there." And I was like, "Yeah, right." Because, I come from a place where, hey, you got the next single, buddy. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, right. Album title, first single." Blah, blah. But, man, it was.
It was.
And it did. And like, no shit. Within like a year and a half of seeing Sturgill on Conan O'Brien, I was sitting behind Cody playing my keyboard, and he was singing our song on Conan O'Brien. Wow. Like, no shit. And I was having the time of my life. Yeah. Like, let me tell you.
It's a great song, man.
Thanks, dude. That came from, like, I had this really complicated relationship with my father, and we won't go all into it, but we didn't speak for about 5 years, and I used to have these imaginary conversations with him because I'd written this song called The Skeptic's Prayer that was on my first record, and he took this just great Christian offense to it, which I expected. But we didn't speak for a long time, and during that time, I would have these conversations, imaginary conversations with him, and one day I was like, "You know what, Dad? I'm not the devil you think that I am. Like, I'm not that bad, dude." And I was also a songwriter, so I was like, "Hey, I better write that down."
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. No shit.
Wow. Man, there's something to that though. Like when those ideas come from like just such a very real place, a place of like deep emotion and maybe pain.
Oh, dude.
I feel like those songs come through so clearly,
Man, I'll tell you something else that happened just because I've been putting pieces together my whole life on God and all of it.
Yeah.
But man, my song that I wrote, it's called the Skeptic's Prayer that he took so much offense to. It was a really honest prayer I had one night, just asking God to show himself because I was just really sick and tired of feeling miserable about shit and asking for his help and just not feeling like I was getting it.
Yeah.
And I told him to show himself to me, and then I wrote this song, and then I recorded it. Me and my dad had this huge falling out, and then I wrote this song that kind of was born of all of that. And then in 2019, after we hadn't spoken for all those years, late 2019, I got him to come to one of my shows, or my mom did, in Little Rock, and he saw us do that song, and that was essentially the thing that got us back on track, where it was like he was proud of me, and not just that, it was just like he really accepted that I wasn't a fuck off. Like he accepted that, like, man, this means something what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that night that he came, he was having back problems, and the back problem turned out to be a tumor that had spread from his lungs, and he died Christmas Eve, 2022. But dude, I asked God to show himself to me, and I didn't like the way. It took a long time, but man, essentially, me and my dad were friends for 2 years, and we never would have been without all that.
Wow.
Like even if we hadn't, you know, we never would have gotten along. We were just...
Yeah.
We didn't like each other, not one bit. He was a Vietnam veteran. I had hair halfway down my back. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, they say God works in mysterious ways.
Totally,
you know,
man.
and on his own timing as well. But I'm sorry that he passed away, but I'm glad that you guys got that, time together.
I'm telling you, man, I was that far from his face when he took his last breath. It was beautiful. You couldn't. It was perfect.
Yeah.
I got no regrets.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so after Cody puts out that song, I mean, you were obviously already touring with him a bunch, but did that help your own career pretty significantly? Oh, man.
Dude, well, it was like, when you look at Cody's catalog, it's not his biggest song, but it was his first big song.
Yeah.
And then everybody went and found all his other music, and like, I think Loud and Heavy is his biggest one. But absolutely, man. And I got all the being on stage with him. We toured so much. And man, when he would cut a record, he would call me like, hey, let's write some songs. And then after that, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Just, I've had cuts on every record since then but one.
Yeah.
And it was just more or less, you know what? It was because he didn't want to put the song on there that we wrote together. I'm saving it for another record.
Oh yeah. Heard that before.
Yeah. Tell me all about it, Bucky Covington. But no, seriously, dude, I got to see the number one next to a lot of songs that I co-wrote because of that guy, either on iTunes or on like Texas charts or indie charts or whatever. Never mainstream, but man, I think I've had 14 or 15 cuts with him.
Wow. And did that allow you to kind of have your own shows that you could like and get people out and do, and I'm sure it's just like pretty life-changing to get to
totally
make a living, you know?
Yeah.
Which it's hard to do.
Dude, it's hard. It really is. Like, touring is hard. Like, you gotta, man, if I don't make $4,000 at a gig, I'm losing money. Like, that's just, there's so many hands in your pockets. And that's just part of it. I'm not complaining about that at all, but there is a grind to it, and there's a lot of responsibility. But man, at the end of the day, you got somebody like Cody. I'm so lucky that he's such a great dude to invite me, because it helps my brand. We're leaving next week to go for a 3-week tour, which is basically a 3-week vacation. We're starting in Honolulu, and then we have 5 days off.
Oh, it's gonna be tough, dude.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be awful, but like, seriously, he's man, he brought me with him. So every time I go to a Cody show, I get more fans. Yeah, you know, like every single one, I get more fans, and he knows that, and he loves his friends, man. I'm his just best friend I ever had.
Yeah, wow, bro. That's great. Yeah, how so? You kind of alluded to you had not previously played a lot of shows before you made your record in 2015, or I want to say, like, let's call it doing the headline in the dance halls all across the state of Texas and throughout the United States. You know, that's its own grind. And it takes a while. You kind of got to have some little kernel of something to really start.
Well, yeah, not only that, you know, for the first, of course, I didn't tour for very long before I met Cody, and then it was just like I met him, and he just took me. Yeah. And so I went from doing, you know, like, for instance, I remember one show I did, like, I played in the lane of a bowling alley. Like
did they set up a stage at least?
No, they laid a carpet and a stool and a monitor and a microphone. And they didn't have the lanes open that were directly next to me, but the ones that were on either side of those were open. So I had to sit there and play for 4 hours. Like, I went from doing that in February to opening for Cody for 2,000 people in Columbus in like March or April.
Yeah.
Like, all this shit was, maybe it was 1,000. It wasn't, but it was way more. And then I was doing that all the time. And then it was like this moment came where it was like, all right, I don't want to be Cody's coattail.
Yeah.
I need to do my own thing.
Stand on your own legs.
So I started going out. And then I realized I would call him and be like, man, this sucks. I'm in Cleveland. You know, there's 8 fucking people here. Or no, I called him from Cleveland. I was like, dude, I only sold 22 tickets tonight. And he goes, fuck you. I sold 8 the first time I played there. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So like I got to see both ends of it really, really, really quick.
Yeah.
Cause, and I needed that too, honestly. Like nothing should be that easy, but man, that getting and going out with your buddy and doing that song every night, it was terrible for my ego and my drinking and everything else.
Yeah.
I was having too much fun. Really.
Yeah. Well, the music business has a way of there's a phrase me and my buddy Ryan Beaver talk about. I don't remember who came up with it, but it's you could pay them early or you can pay them late, but the dues get paid either way.
Yeah.
You know, and the music industry has a way of humbling you one way or the other at some point, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, I'll be 46 next month. I moved here when I was 20. It's a miracle that I'm alive and not just for the amount of shit that I put into my blood, but just the amount of stupid shit that I've done because of it.
Yeah.
And man, a lot of guys, this is so hard on your soul. Like the amount of rejection that comes along with it, like the substance abuse and the suicides and all that shit that happen in this culture is so prevalent. Like, it's a miracle anybody lives to be my age in this.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel really, really lucky that I still get to do it, by the way, and blessed that I have, you know, the people that help me and shit, man. This is awesome for me getting to do this.
Oh, dude,
this is helping me. Thank you.
Of course, man. I'm very honored that you would come on, and you know, we talk to so many songwriters and artists on here from all, you know, kind of different walks of life and people that are in different facets of their career. But it's really fun for me to get to have guys like you on that have kind of done it a different way, you know, an alternative way, because I think that's what I want people to take away from this podcast is that, like, making a career from writing songs and performing is possible. It's very, very difficult, and it'll really hurt your feelings and test you in every kind of way. But anybody that sits there and tells you, like, this is the way, you got to do it like this, you got to write songs for the radio, or you got to, you know, get this manager and this agent. It's like, it's not true. There's a lot of ways to make it. And I think whatever way works for you is what you should do. You know, I can tell you you put a lot of soul into what you do, and maybe it took a while to find the thread, but
man, there were a couple of things. I guess, like, the first thing I had to do was just give myself permission to invest that much into myself, and not just like money, but time and emotion.
Yeah.
And I at some point I did, but man, I think the one thing that, however you make it, whatever that is, man, the one thing that everybody has to do is go all in. Yeah. Like, if you stick one foot in it, forget it. The best, you might get lucky, but that's it.
Yeah.
You gotta dive into the pool, and that's just how I do things. I don't know. Like, I guess I've screwed coming here from the get-go, but that's how I did it, man. And when I left Nashville, that's how I did it, man. Just straight into it. But I had to learn that, like, this world with Cody's world, Outlaw world, Red Dirt world, all of that shit. It's not. I had to unlearn a lot more than what I learned. But I remember writing. We've got this. Cody and I wrote a song called Colorado. That's essentially a song about me and my girl's mom, and about we used to go to Colorado on vacation.
Yeah.
And so the song is like, don't think that I don't think about Colorado, because because it was a good time in our marriage.
Yeah.
But we would go to this town called Marble, Colorado. And the line fell out of me, and I said, I look back to when we carved our names in marble on the aspen by the cabin where we stay. Because I don't know if you've ever been out to Colorado, but people carve their initials in the aspens, and when it scars, it swells out. It's real cool and kind of graffiti. But I said, yeah, but we can't say marble, because if I say I looked back and I carved my name in marble, I was like, nobody's going to know what that means.
Yeah.
And he goes, where'd it happen? I said, marble. He said, well, it's fucking marble. Like, you sit around, but I guess my point in that is like, I'd learned in Nashville that we need to dumb it down.
Yeah.
Make sure that these people don't have to think about what you're saying. My God, the last thing we want somebody to do is lean into the radio and wonder what the hell the guy's talking about and have to give it a minute. And here was this other guy going, no, that's not what we're doing here, sir. We're songwriting.
Telling the truth,
Yeah, we're telling the truth.
I love that.
And
well, what do you? This is something I was thinking about. It's like, what do you think the difference is? Because in like mainstream country music, it's so hits driven. And I think a lot of times it's like a dangerous territory, right? Because you'll have an artist that's 12 years into their career, and then they have a couple songs that don't hit, and then all of a sudden the career is kind of
it's like, oh well, yeah, we're gonna have to move your
smoke.
meeting. Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know if you would call it Texas Red Dirt or Americana or Outlaw. I don't even know what the tint is, but I've seen it with artists like Cody and Robert O'Keefe, but even like Flatland Cavalry or something. It's really not hit driven. It's album driven, but it's also like just the ethos of the artist is what people are coming to see. There's songs that they sing along to, but they're kind of there for, what is it? I'm trying to put my finger on, like, what is that thing?
Man, I think it's a little different for I know what you're saying, but like, I really want to go see the Red Clay Strays. I haven't seen those guys play.
Yeah.
And I know what they're doing. Dude, no way I can do that. I'm just a fan of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Because you believe them when they sing.
But I believe it. Yeah, that's the thing, man. That is an actual, those guys didn't go, all right, now, here's what we're going to sound like. They got together and that's what they sounded like. And dude, it's amazing. And that's what you want to go see. With Sturgill, it wasn't like, all right, I want us to sound like this. I'm going to sing. No, this is just how he does it. And this is how he writes. And somebody like me, I've been fucked with enough by the system. I've had enough snakes get in my head where I've always gone through this questioning what I am. And guys like Cody and guys like that, they've just done it, man. And it's just it's just what they do. And I don't know the exact what is the thing.
Yeah.
But it's a thing.
Yeah.
The Y factor.
Yeah, I think you probably hit it on the head of like, it's just nobody, it wasn't, a market research decision. Because even when you're, you kind of started this, I kind of started it in the opposite way of you. Like I started in Texas and then stumbled into Nashville and into like Music Row and writing. And I didn't even realize that was a job. And so I had to sort of like unlearn some things that I had learned when I started. But then now looking back, I go, I don't know if I needed to go through all of that. But I think yeah, Nashville can just mess with your head. You know, it's hard to
the business guys messed with my head more than anything.
Do you think they just tried to turn you into something that you're not?
The publishers. I never had to deal with record labels very much. Just a couple of times. I had to deal with, like, I worked with a guy named Ray Scott he was signed to Warner Brothers, and they had to give me the talk about what I look like on stage and that kind of shit. But man, the thing that did fuck with me was publishers. And they were just doing their jobs, honestly. It was mostly guys working for guys with a lot of money. But just the breaking down your songs and not always telling you it's not good enough, but telling you that it's not going to fit or people aren't going to get it. And that shit really messed with me. But man, the thing that I did bring from it was the time with those really great songwriters, because I was able to write with guys like Pat Alger, who was, dude, he co-wrote a lot of that Garth shit.
Yeah.
Thunder Rolls. He co-wrote the Thunder Rolls. And he and I co-wrote my first album title, 15 Years in a 10-Year Town.
Yeah.
And like Bob Regan, George Taryn, just these great hit songwriter guys that have had all that success. And I got to learn the tricks of the trade from them. Yeah. As opposed to publishers telling me. So I learned how to use alliteration, and hard rhymes are really important to me. It's not 100%, but I want my rhymes hard and that kind of thing. Yeah. That was cool, but that was the good thing that I got out of it. It wasn't all just,
Yeah. Yeah, I think, songwriting is a craft. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ways to learn the craftsmanship. And I think the hardest part of the publishing business is just some people are. I don't think anybody is mean-spirited or like bad. I just think sometimes you don't align with people, and for whatever reason, those end up being the people that sign you. Or
some of them are scum buckets. We can say that there are some scum buckets in Nashville.
All right, I'll allow it. But there are some good ones too. You got to admit
here.
That. Yeah.
Oh, dude, some of my best friends are everybody I know is in the music business just about.
Yeah.
And, but no, you're right, dude. But it's people fighting for their jobs is what it is. It's people going, man, I need you to write hit songs, because if I don't get songs cut, then they're going to get somebody that will.
Yeah.
And that's just everybody's trying to keep a paycheck in Nashville. Yeah, it's always been that way.
Yeah. Trying to keep the parking pass and the healthcare and
go to hot dog day.
Well, what kind of things keep you inspired these days?
Man, it depends. Man, hearing a great song for the first time is awesome. Which sometimes you got to go back and hear records you've never heard before to find them anymore. But now and then I'll hear something new. Somebody will send me something, and I'll go, man, it's nice to know that people are stretching out and still trying to write great music and great songs. So other people's music inspires me. Yeah. But man, life, dude, I mean, just the shit that happens to me, like I walk into, it's like you just wouldn't believe it. Like the things that I just fall into my lap. The last song that I wrote, I will tell you about, is about, oh man, she's going to love this. After I got divorced, I got a girlfriend. And we dated for about 7 months. And then I found out that she had a boyfriend the whole time. And I was like basically this Jolene type guy that didn't even know it. And so the last song I wrote was about that. And not that I want to Taylor Swift anybody, but my songs are my therapy. I mean, that's how I get shit out. Yeah. So as long as I have crazy shit happening to me, I'll have plenty of shit to write songs about.
Yeah, you got a song... I'm going to mess up. It's something about family trees in the title.
Oh, Another Bad Apple.
Another Bad Apple.
Another Bad Apple didn't fall far from the tree.
I love that song, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's a great song.
I played that this weekend at a writer's thing in Green Bay, and the guys before me were playing these really fun drinking songs, and I announced like, "Hey, this song sounds like a lot of fun when you listen to it, but this is a really tragic song about a dysfunctional family. I hope you enjoy it." And it really is like, and I like I like that we made it sound fun, and it kind of makes people want to move, but it's really about a degenerate gambler brother, an alcoholic mom. Granddaddy was a grifter.
Yeah. That's country music, man.
Yeah, dude. It was real. It's based on people that I've been around.
No, but you're right. It is like it sounds fun, but it is a sad story.
Oh,
but those are good songs. Do that, they put a little wrapping paper on a bad situation.
Yeah, like Ruby. The Kenny Rogers song Ruby.
Yeah,
that's a true story.
Really,
dude. Yeah.
Wow.
That really happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I got one last question for you before we get out of here. If you could go back to younger you, just moving to Nashville, 20 years old, if you could send down a piece of advice for the journey ahead, what would you say?
Quit drinking.
I like it.
That's it, man.
That's good. That's good advice.
It's double-edged, man. Like, I honestly, personally, I would go back and tell me that, because I would probably live longer. Quit drinking. Take better care of yourself.
Yeah.
But man, I've been on this wild music journey for 25 years now. My whole life, if you count when I started playing piano when I was 7.
Yeah.
Man, I've had shit, dude. I met Dolly Parton on an elevator. I met Garth Brooks backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. I got stoned with Willie Nelson. I got drunk with John Daly. I've been a fly on the wall in places that I had no business being. I don't think I would change anything. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's cost a lot, but what doesn't?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I'm so honored that you're here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the music. And I love your story, man. It's truly one of a kind, and it's inspiring.
Man, thanks for having me in. Seriously, and as far as that goes, I got a record coming out.
Yeah. Please.
I got a single coming out in November, second single off the record,
Okay.
and then album coming out in February. But man, thank you again.
Do you have you announced the name yet?
When's this gonna?
Probably a couple weeks, but we you don't have to say if you don't want to say.
Yeah, it's called Here I Am.
Okay.
And the cover of the record is me when I'm 3 years old fighting off a rooster that we had when I was a kid.
I love it. Well, that's great, man. Thank you again. That's it. That's the pod. See you later.
Awesome, Troy, man, you rule, dude.
All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of 10 Year Town. If you want to follow along with the show, make sure you follow us on Instagram at 10 Year Town Pod. And you can find me, your host. I'm at Troy Cartwright, or send me an email, troy@10yeartown.com. We'll see you next week. Thanks.